Hello, my fellow patriots. I'm Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and this is Belinda. Hello, how are
Hello.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Ladies, I am just as outstanding as I could probably get away with legally.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yes. We've got a few people already in here with us tonight, which is kind of cool. We got Batteries Addiction, Cheyenne, Raymond Kishner, and of course, we've got our favorite moderator, Miss DM is here. Vince Dunn, old reliable. So with old reliable here, we know we're in the right place. So going to
Sometimes
be
I
an
can't see the
interesting
chat.
show. Oh well, that's a shame.
Sometimes I can. I mean, it's like intermittent. It's
Kelly Kibo's here, just popped in too. So and it looks like the wife has stopped in to say hello. Just stopped by to say hello. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what she did. I hope all you are enjoying the show. It just started. We can't even tell if we're enjoying it yet. Um, wow, we're getting a group in here now. We got Lulu, we got Dirty Rotten Imbecile. Welcome. Uh, Margot, I Bleed American. Welcome to you all. One quick announcement is I did a live stream this afternoon, and I know that my regular mods cannot be 100 places all at the same times, and sometimes I'll go live and make it. So I added a couple of moderators to my channel, and the reason I did that is because in the afternoon live stream, when I played it back, I noticed a whole bunch of comments that were blocked by their tube. So I just didn't catch them when they were going through the feed. So just wanted to let you guys know I did see your comments. I read them all and I appreciate them. Just at that time, YouTube had them blocked. Stupid. So anyway, so hopefully that'll correct it. We got Rex Havoc, U.S. Navy in here. Good to see you. So anyway, I want to make a quick announcement on pertaining to Miss Belinda. And ladies and gentlemen, Miss Belinda has an active channel.
oh,
She seems just as surprised as we are. It is
I am.
called Chat with Belinda. So please, if you have not yet, please go subscribe to Chat with Belinda.
Oh, thank you,
Let's get her
Alex.
some backing that aren't nothing.
Thank you.
You
That
boost
was
it up.
nice.
We'll give you some people to chat with. Um, we've allowed you to take the plunge. You got all the nerves worked out on my channel. Now you can be a professional and overtake me and
Oh, please.
go run with it.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Say
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
whatever. All right. So we are going to discuss some headlines, obviously, in the first half of the show. I've got a few of them pulled up that are significant for what's going on today. And the second half of the show, we are going to talk about and explain the military industrial complex. That is the financial end of war campaigns. And we're going to get that brought into the light and do some exposure because you hear it all the time in the media. You hear it from elected officials, but nobody really explains what it is. So we're going to take the back half of our show and explain it. Because, like Ricky Ricardo said, you got some serious planning to do. Oh, DM already has your chat, already has your page identified. So all the people have to do is click the link. Awesome.
Oh, thank you, DM. Thank
Oh,
you very much.
all right, Miss Belinda, what have you got going in your wonderful busy life?
Well, I won't be able to be with you Sunday. I'll be out of town. My family's here now, and I'll be out of town,
Get
so I
out of
won't be able.
town.
Yeah, I'm getting out of town. So hopefully, to see some leaves change colors as opposed to uh,
Ugh.
Florida. You
Ugh.
know, it's green or it's brown. So that's the goal, is to see some leaves changing color. So hopefully, we'll be able to
Yeah, as
do
long as
that.
you don't have to see any of the white stuff.
I am allergic to that. I have a doctor's note.
Yeah. I tend to break out when it snows. I break out my jacket, my extra socks, my long johns, my sweatshirts. I mean, I break out everything because I am not about the cold.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I dressed yesterday with my winter clothes and it was 71 degrees. So,
yeah, but when the humidity goes down below zero,
no,
so yeah,
I don't know what that
makes a difference.
is. I'm allergic. I can't, no. I have a note from the doctor.
Awesome. Yes. Um, Let me get up. Yeah, us Floridians, we're weird like that. But believe it or not, I've actually been in a place. I lived in northern Japan where they had some epic snowfalls. In one night, they had dropped over 6 feet of snow, and we were
Six
in the height
feet.
of winter. Yeah, but in the height of winter, the roads all around the military base had 20 feet of snow on either side. You literally, it was like walking around like a mouse in a maze. If you didn't know where you were going, you weren't getting there because all you had were the roads, and everything else was completely invisible because of the snow on either side.
Oh my gosh. That, yeah, no. I don't
Yeah,
even know what to
that's
say to that because
that.
I can't
Nope.
even imagine that. So I've seen TV. It's like
Just
people that see
disgust.
hurricanes. You know, they can't imagine what it's like to go through one, but they've seen them on TV. I've seen snowstorms on TV.
Right.
That's all I know.
Yeah. Well, I've seen them all. I've been in almost every natural disaster there is. We were actually, and when Mount St. Helens went off, we were in Vancouver sitting on a train getting ready to take off. That thing blew all the way up in Vancouver. It rocked our train at about 40 degrees, just
Mm,
about knocked it over. So
wow.
that was how far that was. But anywho, without further ado or a don't, or either one, we've got a few headlines that have come up on the intergovernmental affairs this week. VA awards millions in adaptive sports grant funding for disabled veterans, and I think that's pretty cool. Um,
That is,
it says U.S. Yeah, I mean it's about time. There are private organizations that do these things, but the VA needs to do something about their namesake and pitch in a little bit to help them in these other programs besides the medical. And this is good. This is a great start. But it says the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs awarded 14.8 million in grants for adaptive sports programs benefiting veterans with disabilities and disabled members of the armed forces at the end of September. So that was that's a big deal. I like that headline. That one got me all giddy. So
well, they
um,
do say, if you have an injury, that motion is the lotion to keep moving and try not to give in to your injury. So hopefully that will help people recover or maintain the level of health they have now.
right, yeah, I can get pretty stiff in a very quick minute. Usually I'm just sitting here for an hour. I usually have to recover, but I I try to practice that preach to keep moving because I know if I stop moving, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, number two here says VA employees among federal government workers honored with 2019 Sammys Awards. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs announced two of its own were awarded the 2019 Samuel J. Heyman Service to American Medals, the Sammys Award, October 16th for career achievement and excellence in management by a nonprofit, nonpartisan partnership for public service. So I guess that's cool. Um,
Yeah. I don't know
the
what.
only thing I can,
Go
you
ahead.
don't know it.
Go
You
ahead.
already
No,
said it.
I don't know. I forgot.
No, I insist. You started it now.
I don't know what a Sammy Award is
It's an award.
for that's titled Sammy.
Yeah. So now that we've cleared that up, um, yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'm the only thing that I thought about when I read that was you know, their um, their union. I don't know if it's affiliated with the union or not. As a matter of fact, let's just open it all the way up and take a look. It'll take just a second. CLC of Florida. Welcome, welcome. Wilman757, good to see you. All right. It says, as I already read the title, VA employees among federal government workers honored with 2019 Sammy's Award. Um, Dr. Ann McKee, Boston, Virginia Medical Center Chief of Neuropathy, and Victoria Brom, Director of Toma, Virginia Medical Center in Wisconsin, were among 26 finalists selected for more than 300 employees and teams nominated across the federal government for the 2019 Sammys Award. The VA
Okay.
employees continue to. Okay, what?
Oh, go ahead.
It says VA employees continue to exemplify excellence in public service and what it means to be committed to federal service, said the VA Secretary Robert Wilkie. I am proud of the accomplishments and achievements of these winners and all the VA employees nominated for and for the hard work they're doing on behalf of our national veterans. So I've already answered it with the first two paragraphs. It is not
Got it.
affiliated with the union. This is a Veterans Award program by the Veterans Administration.
Okay. Thank you.
That's good.
Okay.
Oh, I'm glad to help. God bless you.
That was my dad.
Um, well, God bless you. Anyway, um, maybe twice as much just because of that. Anyway, so VA ribbon cutting ceremony brings healthcare closer to home for rural veterans. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs VA celebrated its latest Telehealth Innovation Act of October 16th at the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 6787 in Eureka, Montana, with a grand opening of its first VA accessing telehealth through local area stations, which will benefit up to 300 veterans living in that community. They are
Wow.
really moving with that. So
That's
that's good. I got one more headline right here, and then
sure.
we'll go to the next thing. It says VA Enlisted Association of the National Guard of the United States partner to increase access to suicide prevention resources for its members. Now, I talked about that, I think, last week, that they were proposing the idea of expanding that for National Guard and reservists because technically they get their medical 2 weeks out of the year or every 1 weekend a month. The rest of the time they kind of go without. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. Get it so they can access mental health programs a lot more weekend a month.
I agree.
So, excuse me, how rude of you. And it wasn't bad manners, it was good coffee. Um, so, I've got other headlines, but I want to split the floor. So, do you have anything in particular that you found
I
that
I found a
you think would be
funny
of
one.
interest?
I found a
Okay,
funny
we
one.
like funny.
Well, it's funny, sad. I guess if you kind of have a darker sense of humor. Um, but
Oh, I have
some
a very dark sense of humor.
not that dark. Uh,
Okay,
some
okay.
59-year-old guy was arrested for selling crack cocaine to the
In a VA medical
residents.
center.
Yes.
Never heard of it. Yeah, yeah.
I just can't. On several occasions, they watch them. We just
Right.
had an arrest here about a Chinese guy married to a Chinese nationalist, and they were just arrested here in my city. Well, everybody would know now in Jacksonville for selling small arms to the Chinese. And he was
How
arrested
nice.
and where they arrested him was Louisiana. And, that's a lot of shipyards all through there. And he was trying to buy
Right.
those boats that the SEALs use. They're kind of rubber, but you can put two, three
Right.
hundreds on the back of it and all. They were arrested trying to buy those and ship them to China. So, but I don't know
Wow.
what these people think they can get away with. But here they watch this guy sell crack for on several occasions. They watch this dude for 5 years. How long do you need to make a case?
I can't
5 years is a
imagine.
long time.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that maybe it was something equivalent to somebody get caught ripping off the till. If they drop off $100 a night, that's really nothing. But if they keep getting witnesses and on camera and let it build up to $2,000 or $3,000, then they got grand larceny. So maybe that was it. Maybe they were looking to get enough evidence to keep him locked up for whatever. That's all I
Maybe
can
so.
think of.
Yeah, I have
Either
no
that or
idea.
they were getting supplied. And maybe he decided to renege on the offer, and then they decided, okay, we got your reneging off the offer here. So
Yeah, maybe so. But
could be anything.
I find it funny when they watch people for what I feel like is too long. If you've already broken a law once,
Oh yeah,
they're just going to continue to do it. Just go get them.
yeah, I agree. But we have examples of that all over the place in our government right now. But Sandra Ann McGibbon came in. Deidre, welcome. I saw Colleen and Batteries Addiction, Dangerous Freedom, and D.A. Archer. Welcome to all of y'all. Noco Silver, welcome, welcome.
Hello,
It's cool to have
everyone.
all you folks hanging out. Yep, it is very cool hanging out
Did
with
you
little old us.
did you see about the 1.6 pay raise for veterans?
I
1.6%.
did. I talked about that last week. How
Oh, sorry.
it's amazing because the average inflation of the country is at 3%. So every year you're getting a raise, but you're falling a little bit further behind.
Yeah.
So it's hard to keep up at that rate. You're getting
Yeah.
a pay
When
raise that's
you started off
just
behind.
over right. You get behind, and you're going to stay there.
Yeah.
Claire Lyons, welcome. New faces and new names in. I noticed in my afternoon live stream, and also tonight I see some new ones. So it's really cool for you folks joining us, and welcome to the Patriot family. We appreciate each and every single one of you.
Hello, all y'all.
So, is that your last one? You're
Yes.
funny, or did you
Yes.
find other ones?
No, that was. I don't know if it's funny, ironic, or just dark, but that's all I have.
Well, it would be like Twilight funny, I guess. Maybe not completely dark.
Yeah.
Obnoxious, maybe.
Stupid ass.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, here it is actually. Man sentenced for selling crack cocaine at VA hospital.
Yeah.
We got the good medicine for you over here, right?
This will heal you. Don't listen to your doctor.
Right. This will fix you right up. You
Yeah.
won't even think about the medication you're missing. Um, yeah, here we are laughing on a bunch of druggies. Anyway, not sure who this is, but his name is Espar. Says reduction of American forces in Afghanistan relies on peace agreement with the Taliban. Well, considering that Iraq has been at war for a very long time, I don't think that if they're going to base it upon that, I don't think we're ever going to get out of there. I think we're just there for eternity.
Well, yeah, because they've
Um,
been at war with each other for eternity.
right. Um, okay, this is one that I found because everybody is just losing their mind over Syria, and that was part of what I talked about today in the live stream. But it says right here, Pentagon chief says American troops leaving Syria will conduct anti-ISIS operations from Iraq. So they're still going to keep their thumb on ISIS. They're just not going to be in Syria doing it. So everybody's freaking out about 25 people leaving Syria and, oh, we're abandoning our allies and all this other. We're not abandoning anything. We're just changing our point base of operation.
And I would hate for it to turn into like I've said before, like a Benghazi. 25 people against
Yeah,
15,000 unruly troops. I you would
that seems like
you
pretty
would
even
it would be
odds
a
to me.
criminal it would be a criminal act, I feel, if you didn't pull them out. It would be like a war crime.
Oh yeah,
But that's
yeah,
just
it's crazy.
my
Um,
simpleton look at it.
well, no, I don't believe it's all that simple. I think that's profound because it's true. Look at our guys from Benghazi. I mean, they held off essentially a brigade of invaders. We lost some of them, and that really, really sucks. But these are masters at the craft, and they held their ground with a truly overwhelming force. So that
Yeah,
tells the kind of training that we get. We are capable of defending from anywhere in the world. We can handle it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, let's see. I'm looking for something. Oh, a former Navy serial killer is finally put on death row, so that's not a great article, but it's a shame. Um, so that's you actually got one of them on that selling the crack. So that was one of them I was going to do, but you got it, install it from me, and that's fine. You know, it gives you your fame.
Well, with company coming in today, I'm just a little behind the times.
Yeah, but you jumped right ahead of me. So hey, you're doing great.
Well, it's just what came
This
up.
is yeah. Well, this little thing just came up. Um, unfortunate news in Fort Stewart training accident leaves 3 soldiers dead and 3 injured. So prayers for them. I know it's my injuries are from a training accident, and they can be as devastating as injuries because the training is minus the live fire. Oh, good news here. Bullpup and belt fed prototypes for Army's next generation squad weapons finally revealed. And these things are wicked looking. If you like the bang bang, we you know what the saw is? Have you ever heard of that weapon called the
Mm.
saw?
Oh yeah, friend of ours that
Do you know who
was
got to try those out?
you did.
Yes, ma'am. We got the prototypes. My unit got the prototypes, and we got to run them through their paces. And that was a blood curdling rush. They're designed to cut down small tree lines, so they're excellent for clearing like battalions. You know, it helps with that. But they're really designed to cut the tree line down so that people can't hide behind it. But they
Yeah,
are truly an awesome weapon.
yeah. Our friend came back
Uh,
bigger. He was much bigger around here when he came back. That was his job. He was the saw guy.
give me a tree. Watch this. So what else you got? Because I got a bunch. What don't you have?
I
You know.
like I said, I don't have I have maybe a thing or two on the other subject, but nothing to add.
Okay. All right.
Nothing to add. I
Well,
haven't.
before we adjourn of the hearing, then I'll go ahead and hit the couple more. Um, this is one here. It says Air Force and more security forces were sent to Ishaq, which is in Turkey. Um, they are not sending security forces. They don't need to. The whole thing over there is that designed for the media to pitch a narrative. So as soon as people can realize that, they'll be a lot more comfortable.
Well, I do have a question with all that. First, the Democrats don't like war, but now they want war. I mean, I
Right.
guess that's in the simplest terms. You know, first they're complaining about everything, and now all they do is complain. I watch the debates. All they do
Right.
is complain. They have made no affirmative. There has been nothing concrete that they have done the 3 years that Trump has been president, and it's shameful.
You did you actually say you watched the debate?
I did. I did.
Oh, God bless you.
I did.
I
It
mean, oh
was
my
something
goodness, that
else. And every time
you
they
are an
went to
absolute
war,
powerhouse.
well, I want to know what they're saying. Because when you talk to people, you have to know where they're coming from, and they're just coming from lunacy. that It's
I can listen to the
socialism,
highlights.
but you can't
I
listen
mean,
to
I
the
guess
whole
I could,
thing.
yeah, I should call them the lowlights. I can
Yeah.
listen to the lowlights, but I cannot sit through that banter because they all say the same thing, and they just try to one up each other with emotion. It's like President Trump is country. Here's the example, and then President Trump is an and a more to our country.
Yeah.
So it's one up on the emotion, and it's lose every single time. Hey, Propus, I made you a mod earlier, brother, so you can open up chats when they come up because YouTube likes to block chats. So when you see one, just put a last words or anything in it. That's the thing. When I originally started this channel, I said sometimes veterans can get really passionate and maybe there'll be some cussing in the chat, but I need to ask that you please do not, because if the channel is not listed as adult content and an 18 or older rating, the entire video will be flagged if they find cuss words in the chat. The same thing is done if you use subbed, if you say I subbed, if you don't use subscribed in a complete useful sentence, they consider it a cuss word and adult content, and they will flag your channel. So those
Mhm.
two things in mind. And that is all. Thank you. So yeah, that I'm still trying to get over the. I watched the debates. Wow,
Well, you have to
I'm
know
really
what
impressed.
they're. I can't fight against something. You have to know your enemy, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well,
And they've said the same things in every debate. It's a lot
right,
about Trump and very little substance. So how does your plan
right,
work? How much does it cost? And there are no answers, or there's pie in the sky. We're going to give every adult American $1,000, but we're going to tax you heavily on the back end. You know what?
yeah,
A
60%.
thousand
So
dollars a
we'll give it
month.
to
A
you. You
thousand
give it
dollars
back
a
to us.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
So
it's
you'll get 400.
complete
They'll get their
lunacy.
kickback of their 600. It'll be their racketeering, and everybody will line their pockets, and everything will suck.
And
Um,
and when
the
they
S
take
word
little
surprises me. Yeah,
things,
calling is ridiculous.
when they take little bits of your freedom, turns into taking all your freedom. And with
Right.
the
They can't take it all at
socialized
once.
healthcare, with the socialized healthcare, who's in control? Not you, not your doctor. Oh,
Right.
because insurance companies already say, "Oh, well, I don't want to pay for that. I don't want to pay for that." Well, once, if God forbid that ever happened, uh, you will have no choice. You
Right.
And that's why people fly from other countries to come here to get health care.
Yeah.
They leave their country, their socialized medicine country, and come here to get quality health care.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fascinating. I mean, it's really not, but it's. I guess it sort of is. As far as that, I talked about the new prototypes for military small arms. There's also another prototype which I find kind of nice, which they had it when I was in. There's a says soldiers will test new flame resistant wool pullovers this winter. The problem I have is I'm allergic to wool. I had to have a profile when I was active duty because I can't have anything wool against my skin. But um, if they find these to be fire retardant or flame resistant, it could be a great big step towards protecting the soldiers on the ground because when when you get those, sometimes the damage comes from being cooked, and if you got something to resist that, that could really make a big difference.
It could, absolutely. What is that thing that I always tell Randy I want? I think I need a flamethrower. I think that would be
I
my
think
weapon of
every
choice.
home should have a flamethrower.
That would be my weapon of choice, and I think he should get me a flamethrower. But he tells me
I'm going to
absolutely
need you
not.
to step away from the door, please.
I
Always
just
be
think that would be
polite before you
best.
pull the trigger.
Yes, yeah, but I
Hey, History B, congratulations on the grand. History B has made it to the 1,000 mark, folks. So let's keep kicking
yay!
her up there. Let's get a good cushion on there so they can't screw around and start taking them back. But happy for you,
Congratulations!
History B. You rock. She deserves it. Definitely. Her new video is, I just love it because it talks about the early Democrats and the original first coup that was ever done in this country against a state government. People talk about the Democrats are different. They were a different party now. No, they just had people in the dark for a long time. Peter Patriot, good to see you. Patty, welcome. Good to see you. Are you like, let's see, are you like Elizabeth Warren, just beating around the bush all the time? Anytime you ask her a question about healthcare, she starts to talk about something else. That's a natural occurring practice. That's the tactic of the left.
Yeah, she has no answers. Like Biden has no answers. These people have been in office, some of them 40 plus years, and they're blaming everything on a man that has never been in public office and has only been here 3 years. And it's just lunacy.
Right.
I can't, it just makes me so frustrated. How can people even buy into that? They've done nothing so far. What makes next year going to be better? Nothing.
I just can't imagine. Um, I wanted to bring up one more headline that I found, and then we're going to get into the military industrial complex. But this one, we've talked in length about how the new military is getting a little soft, and the goal the requirements for goals are being laxed a little bit, so that people are moving forward a little quicker with less effort. And this one is a prime example. It says Army considers a pass fail option on their ACFT for sergeant's promotions. Um, when I went through, you needed points. If you didn't have the points, and that meant schools, you go through the schools. Every school you go through gives you points. Combat leadership course, the PLDC, the platoon leaders course. You have to go through the courses and you have to do well in them. If you don't pass them, if you don't do well, you don't get your points. And the better you do in the course, the more points you get. So, what does this pass fail option mean? Does this mean, well, you were at the bottom of the class, you just made it by 1 point, but here's your sergeant stripes. Go ahead, you earned them. Is that what that's about? You think?
I have no idea. But I wasn't in the Army, so I don't understand how their system works. But pass fail, it
Well,
sounds like everybody
non-commissioned
gets a
officer,
trophy.
basically.
Oh, I,
That's
I
kind of
know.
what I was thinking from it.
Yeah, that's just how it sounds to
But I'm
me.
sure
Is
that the Navy has the same thing. When you go from your junior grades up into your sergeant status or
they
your
do, but it's not a
uh,
cumulative thing. It's a test. You go test for it,
oh, okay,
and and that test and
okay.
how you grade it, then they take the top get will make rank, the top scoring uh, people that took the test. It's not a cumulative, oh, you took this school, you went here, you went there. It doesn't work that way.
What it reminds me of is what my dad always asked, and he says, "What do they call the person that makes the lowest score in the medical class?"
Doctor.
Doctor, yes. So it used to frustrate the hell out of my father because he graduated at the top of his medical class, but he spent 20, 21 hours a day sometimes studying and, really broke himself to get to be the top of the class. But then the guys that would go out drinking on the weekends and do the binge reading overnight, all of a sudden would come in and just barely squeak by some of their most important medical exams, and then they would graduate and be called doctor, handshake, the diploma and all. But it's
Yeah.
just that's the way I feel like this is becoming with the sergeants now. Like if you don't have to put the effort into it, then what kind of a sergeant are you going to make?
Yeah.
American War Horse, welcome. Good to see you, brother.
But everything's going to
All right.
this wussy world.
Yeah, it
Wussies.
really is. I mean, everything's soft.
Yeah.
I mean, I am just flat broken. Half of my damn back is made out of titanium, and I feel like I could probably still pass basic training right now, even though I can barely function. I just feel like it's been made so soft that it's just go on through it. And I just hold up my flag when I get too worked up. I need to take a nap. I'm getting too worked up. But anyway, so that's what get into military industrial complex. Belinda, since you've got something pulled up on that, why don't you hit us off with a start?
Okay. Let it just load here. I have never really spent any time looking into. I've always heard the military industrial complex, but I've never spent any time trying to learn about it. So Alex brought this to my attention today, and it's it's to me it's convoluted when you read how it works, but then it's very dangerous. I think that this is could be very, very dangerous. Eisenhower talked about it when he left office, and he said
Yes.
he warned people uh, to. Here it is. Another element which, after this war, which was World War II, is likely to strengthen the tendencies in this direction will be some of the men who during the war have tasted the powers of control and
Right.
will find it difficult to reconcile themselves to humbler roles. And he first wanted to call it the military uh, congressional industrial complex, but Congress got upset with that. So they took that word out in his speech. And
Yeah, they want to control it quietly.
well, yeah, they didn't want to know about it. So I started looking up companies that are in considered in the military industrial complex. Some of them aren't even of this country in our military
Right.
industrial complex. One of them is Naval Group. They're an arms distributor, but they're out of France. Um,
Right.
and
Just real quick, I wanted to say hey to Tim Clark, Eastern Immigrant, and Slate Rock. I believe those are three newcomers. I think uh, Eastern Immigrant was with us this afternoon, but I'm glad to see all the new faces and welcome to everybody.
hello,
Go ahead, Belinda.
everyone.
I'm sorry
Oh, no, that's
before you
fine.
get interrupted again.
And I'd always heard that the military industrial complex, or these people that promote war, uh, had the majority stake in our economy. Well, after looking at a couple different things, I have trouble with statistics anyway because it depends on who's writing it and the questions that they're asking. But everything that I found
Right.
just shows that of all the major countries in the world, uh, ours is, here we go, it's only 3.2% of our GDP. Now, I find that hard to believe, uh, because Saudi Arabia, they have that their budget on the military is 8.8%. And it's us and Japan that spend the most money on the growth of our military and weapons and funding those parts of the government. So I don't understand,
Right.
because I've always heard, but I never looked into it. So now I'm reading it, and the numbers that I find are all in the 3% range. So I don't know, I don't know the questions they asked. I don't know what all they
Maybe
took
the
into account
3% is
with
the
this.
kickback, the money that's kicked back to the legislators and the officials when they support the military industrial complex. Maybe
Oh,
that's their 3% is their magic number for their kickbacks.
well,
I
they're
mean, that's
talking
just my
about
guess.
they're talking about what funds our economy, and only 3% of the military industrial complex helps fund our economy. And I just find that to be a
Well, I
low
just think
number
that's
when
totally
you,
fake.
yeah, when you think of how
Yeah,
much a aircraft carrier cost. And they're not built by sailors, they're not built by the Seabees, they're not built by anything like that. We hire everything out. And some of the shakedown cruises on boats aren't even done nowadays with the military's on board, but there's someone else uh, putting the ship through its paces. So I find that to be a low
right.
number, but that's my very uneducated, very limited look at this, since we talked about that late this afternoon. So,
Well, if you think about it, if they were to give out the real numbers of what war does for an economy, then it might actually make people mad because they realize that the death of their loved ones is purely for profit. And if they started getting a whiff of the real numbers that come from war, they would be pretty disgusted by it.
yeah, because what it seems like happened during World War II is they tried to pull, like GM and people that were building airplanes and motors and guns. They tried to pull them underneath the government umbrella. Well, a lot of them didn't want to do
Right.
that because they were private companies, and uh, but what they ended up doing was making a branch within their company,
Right.
and GM military, I don't know what it's called, will work under the military, and we'll get the funding from the Pentagon, and we'll do all these things. And uh,
Like
it
Ford
became such
did.
big, yeah, like, yeah, it just became such big business, and it's continued to be business. This is business. This, I think, has,
Yeah, it's not.
like, the whole deal with
It's,
Venezuela. We went and shook that up, and now look at that country.
yeah.
We go around and we meddle in the affairs of others, and we shouldn't. We need to take care of our porch, and we need to protect our borders,
Right.
and then go step out. But until all this is taken care of, the 50, we just need
Yeah.
to stay out, to
Need
stay
to leave
out.
them alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. American Warhorse said a shakedown is when a brand new ship is put through its paces before being accepted by the Navy, and the shakedowns are done. A ship's shakedown cruise is a mix of countries. So that is what the shakedown is. Thank you, Manny, for that input. Um, yeah, if you don't speak ship lingo, people are probably wondering why do they shake? Nervous?
It's to find all the kinks and problems and
Right.
bobos with construction. Yeah.
You usually on a shakedown you amp that thing out. You wind it up and do things. You try to break it. That's what the shakedown is. You want to if it's gonna break, you need it to do it now when you're
Mm-hmm.
running it through its paces instead of when you get called to duty. So they can be really violent with those. I know one thing they do, and my dad told me about this because he got to shake down a carrier, and he said that one thing they'll do is they'll run the throttles all the way to the bulkhead, and they'll wind that ship up as fast as it'll go, and then they take everything and throw it in reverse. And he said that is the most violent car wreck you can ever imagine. Just all of a sudden, the ship is just shaking and whining, and you hear the steel just reverberating. And he said it was just His description was it was like a scene from a watery hell was when they did that. But yeah, so anyway,
Yeah,
that's
but
what that looks like.
yeah, and with this military industrial complex, I mean, meddling, I think the only purpose to meddle in the affairs of some of these smaller countries is, of course, solely for our benefit, but we don't realize it's for our benefit. We destabilize a country, and once we destabilize a country, we don't even go back to help build them back up. You know, and that's
Hey, old reliable. Yeah, Manny said he got to shake down the Eisenhower, so that's pretty cool. Uh, Manny, did you experience the old full throttle and then all reverse? Did they do that with you on there? Give him a second to answer that because I'm curious because that would be another opinion on what that watery hell looks like. Anyway, so what I did was I looked up military industrial complex in Wikipedia and grain of salt, folks. Wikipedia, you can change it, you can manipulate it, and it is left leaning. So that is the disclaimer. But they did pretty well kind of explaining it. It says the military industrial complex, MIC or MIC, is an informal alliance between a nation's military and the that supplies it, the defense industry that supplies it, seen together as a vested interest which influences public policy. A driving factor behind the relationship between the government and the defense minded corporations is that both sides benefit one side from obtaining war weapons and the other side from being paid to supply them. The term is most often used in reference to the system behind the military of the United States, where it is the most prevalent due to close links between defense contractors and the Pentagon and politicians. The gained popularity after a warning on its detrimental effects in the farewell address of President Dwight D. Eisenhower on July 17, 1961. In the context of the United States, the appellation is sometimes extended to military industrial congressional complex, which it should be again, adding the U.S. a three-sided relationship iron triangle. Wait, gotta stop right there because I've been telling you guys on several of my videos about the 3 points of power, the iron triangle. That's the word every time I would say this, talking religious point, the banking point, we are the military point of the iron. So it's the 3 points of power. That's that kind of get two explanations. These relationships contributions, political military spending, lobbying to support bureaucrats, and oversight of the industry, and more broadly to include the entire network of contracts and flows of money and resources among individuals as well as corporations and institutions of defense contractors, private military contractors, and Pentagon, the Congress, and executive branch. So that is what the industrial complex is. It is the military wing of the New World Order, or the 3 points of power, or the Iron Triangle. And I'm glad I was able to find that. Hi, puppy. Oh, I guess he can't hear me because he doesn't have the earbuds in.
and she's deaf.
Good to see you. Claire, good to see you again. I was reading that attention to see if Manny told me about it. It's funny that about like and I served. Yeah, yep. Like I'm looking to see if you answered the question about um, um, if you don't think 100,000 tons can rock like hell, I can prove you wrong. He's been through it. Ah, that's funny. Yep. So it's double verified. Cornbread, welcome. All right. So what else you got, Miss Belinda?
Um, the lobbyists, the annual lobbying uh, expenditure on defense lobbyists for the
Uh huh.
companies. Uh, $56 million has been spent um, on. It won't break it down. Oh, here we go. For aerospace, miscellaneous defense, and electronics. That's an incredible amount of money on lobbying.
What's my cat's name? Oh, that's Saber because he's got his incisor teeth that stick down below his lower jaw, so he looks like a little saber tooth, miniature saber tooth tiger. Um, it's yeah, almost 800. Yeah, Tony, I'm getting close, man. I appreciate all you guys that have joined my Patriot group, and make sure that you guys take a minute and subscribe to Miss Belinda. She has now got a channel she's cranking up called Chat with Belinda, and she got her first video up there today. So please go support her as well
It's okay.
because between the two of us, we're going to keep bringing you awesome information, and we're still going to do our shows together. So don't fear
Oh,
that.
yeah.
It's just um, I've talked her into doing her own because I don't always want to hear what she has to say, but so wait a minute, did I say that out loud? Wow, that was really mean. I'm going to retract that, but no, it's. I think you guys will enjoy it. You guys talk about how you enjoy it when we go back and forth sometimes. So I think you'll get a lot of that out of her channel. So please go check her out. Um,
I just hope I'll
as
be able
far
to see
as
chat every time.
well, what you can do. I mean, are you doing it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, so as long as you're on using just YouTube, that's no problem. If you're using Streamlabs, you can see the chat also, but you can't identify your mods necessarily unless you know them all by name, because you can't see your little blue wrenches and stuff like that. But the, you should be able to see everything else. But definitely make sure you get a couple of mods like DM in there because she'll be glad to have another page to keep an eye on. So she doesn't have much going. So she'll be able to pick that right up.
Well, I don't even have anything,
Um,
and it won't be till after I get back.
yeah, but I mean, you're already there, so it's a start. Nope, dinner's
Well,
ready.
thank you.
Um, um, anyway, so I'm with you already talking about Ike. I'm I've actually already talked about my half of it on the military complex. So as far as more information about it, a little difficult to come by because it's not a subject that the government likes to talk about. They like to keep it as quiet as possible because the money in war, it's big business, and when the general population find out that their their children being sent to war and being killed in war is for the purpose of bringing money to the bankers. I don't think that'll go over well. Probably about as good as a turd in a punch bowl. Um, anyway, so that's that part.
I think
Shaking and
there's a.
quaking
I think
when
if you
you
want to talk
post
about this again,
your
and I can spend some more time looking at it, I think it's quite interesting. I just haven't
oh
had.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
there's a lot to it, and I mean I probably could have and should have pulled up more articles about it, but I figured Wikipedia would give kind of a rundown of what it is and
But yeah, I just
the
want to apply it to the companies
Eisenhower's
today
warning.
because I've when I
Yeah,
started looking at the companies, I mean Rolls Royce, you understand because they have they do engines. You understand Boeing, you understand Lockheed, but like this naval group, it's it's a French company, and they're in the
yeah,
arms industry. Now that doesn't necessarily mean handguns. You know, that's uh,
right.
Raytheon, we understand. United Aircraft, we understand. Honeywell, but uh, Naval Group.
Yeah,
not
Honeywell
us.
actually supplied both sides in Germany in World War II.
Did they really?
Oh yeah, Honeywell was
The
the maker of the I believe the track systems for the half tracks and for the tanks, but it just so happened all they did was change the rubber pattern so that they would look different, and it was the same mechanical mechanisms on U.S. tanks and German half tracks and tanks.
well, my question with this, if we have good avionics, let's say, or some good ordnance, what prevents these companies from, like you just said, selling it to somebody else? What is there
Right.
something in
Hey
place that
Lee.
says if you're supplying the United States of America with, you know, this type of ordinance, you can't go supply it to somebody else? Is there something in place that doesn't let them do that, or is it all just willy nilly out there and whoever has
I
the
would say
money?
probably the U.S. military and the fact that the bankers control all of it. Because if they say, "Oh well, I'm not going to sell to you anymore. I want to sell and you have an industrial accident," and don't think for a second that won't happen either. They'd fix that right up.
Yeah, because I just don't know if, because there is such greed, and greed is driving everything and has driven everything, since Roman times. Uh, that
Right.
we're just not selling. We have, you know, this piece of avionics and they have this piece of avionics. We're always blowing up helicopters and downed aircraft so they don't get any of our secrets. But how do we even know
Yeah, but then they get them
their
given to
secret?
them. I mean, that's just like our special operations. I mean, for 8 years, before Trump, it was an open market. So I don't know that I don't think we have any secrets or military secrets anymore. I think everybody is getting everything, and what it's going to turn into is another form of the mutually assured destruction, just like the nuclear arsenals. The reason they don't start shooting them at each other is because they know they won't exist either when they're done. So the same thing's going to happen with our conventional weaponry. Is you will reach a point of there won't be any chance for anybody because everything will be absolutely equal, and then who wins at that loses.
Well, yeah, and that's what I don't know. I know we see. I don't want. Well, I don't even know how to phrase my statement. I would like to have the belief that the technology that we have and the things that we do are solely to us, and that they always say Americans think they're better. Well, I do think we're better, and I would hope that it would stay within the confines of our country. But I just
Right.
don't think it does. When you read, these people are all over the world. We sell F-18s to, pretty much whoever wants them, and
Right. Well, there is something
but
about
they
that
do
now,
take the stuff
and
out of them. I mean, they're stripped down. They're not,
yeah,
full of everything that we have. And all that I'm saying is, what prevents another company? We're risking people's lives to go blow up aircraft, sink aircraft, do all kinds of things. What has it been prevented from going out of our country? This technology, solely ours?
not with Hillary's help. I just really don't think so. I think that everything that we've had up until that point, I believe, is already being dished out on plates and full service. Would you like fries with that kind of thing?
I guess.
I
Yeah.
don't know where we stand. I mean, if she had access to our ultra secret technology at our bases and things like that, which I kind of have a feeling she might have swindled her way in there, then we have no secrets. God bless
Yeah.
America. Good to see you. Um, I saw another new face. I said hi to Clear Lions already, and it was up here somewheres. Um, another another newbie. I'm thinking. Well, I saw, Rex Havoc Navy. He jumped in here, so he's also been in one of those full reverses. So it's just funny. The opinions seem to be shared. It's a watery hell. Um, anyway, Oath Keeper. Yep, welcome. Good to see you. Um, I try to wave my hand at everybody because you guys are important to me. I appreciate you. I mean, you're important to Belinda too. So
Yes,
we enjoy having you with us. Um,
absolutely.
anyway, I think that we've pretty much Donald Trumpster. Welcome. You are the
That's a
president.
good name. That's a good name. I like it.
Corporation, an LLC, or a sole proprietorship. I'm not sure. Anyway, so that is pretty much what we've got tonight. I wanted to take just a minute and too many people saying they're being unrung and unsubscribed. Yes, American Warhorse, that is true. Um, I just wanted to say if you guys have channels that you want to promote, you can always do them on my channel here. Just put your link underneath, go together. But if you haven't me yet, I would love it if you do. Let me know when we come on. If subscribe to the channel because we're going to all have something to give. And the more patriots we get in this movement, the better off we are in 2020 for sure. But anyway, so you have anything you want to say on the way out, Belinda?
No, thanks everybody for joining us and all the new people, and I thank you.
Uh, well, Donald Trumpster says he is announcing that he's running for president in 2020. So that's a good thing. That means we have
You have my vote.
confirmation now, so there's no more question. Yeah, so that's good. You got 2 votes here, so that's a good start. All right, folks. I am going to leave it with that, and the dog is saying hurry the hell up. So I will say until Tuesday, me at Real Weird Real News, and we will see you then. And until then, stay in.